In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez, Part 2, Chapter 7, Part A. Maria Teresa, 1953 to 1958, 1953. Tuesday morning, December 15th. Fella says rain. I feel like dying myself. I can't believe she came to the funeral mass with her girls, adding 4 more slaps to her big blow. One of them looked to be only a few years younger than me, so you couldn't really say, "Ay, poor papa. He lost it at the end and went behind the palm trees. He was bringing down coconuts when he was good and hearty and knew what he was doing." I asked Minerva who invited them. All she said was they were papa's daughters too. I can't stop crying. My cute cousins Raul and Berto are coming over, and I look a sight, but I don't care. I really don't. I hate men. I really hate them. Wednesday evening, December 16th. Here I am, crying again, ruining my new diary book Minerva gave me. She was saving it up for my Epiphany present, but she saw me so upset at Papa's funeral she thought it would help me the most now. Minerva always says writing gets things off her chest and she feels better, but I'm no writer like she is. Besides, I swore I'd never keep a diary again after I had to bury my little book years back, but I'm desperate enough to try anything. Monday, December 21st. I'm a little better now. For minutes at a time, I forget about Papa and the whole sad business. Christmas Eve. Every time I look at Papa's place at the table, my eyes fill with tears. It makes it very hard to eat meals. What a bitter end of the year. Christmas Day. We are all trying. The day is rainy. A breeze keeps blowing through the cacao. Fella says that that's the dead calling us. It makes me shiver to hear her say that after the dream I had last night. We had just laid out Papa in his coffin on the table when a limousine pulls up to the house. My sisters climb out, including that bunch that call themselves my sisters, all dressed up like a wedding party. It turns out I'm the one getting married, but I haven't a clue who the groom is. I'm running around the house trying to find my wedding dress when I hear Mama call out to look in Papa's coffin. The car horn is blowing, so I go ahead and raise the lid. Inside is a beautiful satin gown, in pieces. I lift out the one arm, and then the other arm, then the bodice, and more parts below. I'm frantic, thinking we still have to sew this thing together. When I get to the bottom, there's Papa, smiling up at me. I drop all those pieces like they're contaminated and wake up the whole house with my screams. I'm so spooked. I wonder what it means. I plan on asking Fella who knows how to interpret dreams. Sunday afternoon, December 27. Today is the feast of San Juan Evangelista, a good day for fortunes. I give Fella my coffee cup this morning after I'm done. She turns it over, lets the dregs run down the sides, then she reads the markings. I prod her. Does she see any novios coming? She turns the cup around and around. She shows me where 2 stains collide and says that's a pair of brothers. I blush because I guess she can tell about Berto and Raul. Again, she slowly rotates the cup. She says she sees a professional man in a hat. Then, a capitolino. She can tell by the way he stands. I am at the edge of my seat, smiling in spite of these sad times, asking for more. You'll have to have a second cup of coffee, senorita, she says, setting the cup down. All your admirers can't fit in 1 cup of fortune. Berto and Mate? Mate and Raul? Forever? Ojo de Agua, Salcido, 30 December, 1953, 23rd year of the era of Trujillo. Generalissimo Dr. Rafael El Trujillo, benefactor of our country, illustrious and well-loved Jefe, knowing as I do the high esteem in which my husband Enrique Mirabal held your illustrious person, and now somewhat less confounded by the irreparable loss of my unforgettable compañero, I write to inform your Excellency of his death on Monday, the 14th day of this month. I want to take this opportunity to affirm my husband's undying loyalty to your person, and to avow that both myself and my daughters will continue in his footsteps as your loyal and devoted subjects. Especially now, in this dark moment, we look to your beacon from our troubled waters and count on your beneficent protection and wise counsel until we should breathe the very last breath of our existence, of our own existence. With greetings from my uncle Chiche, I am most respectfully Mercedes Reyes de Mirabal. Wednesday, late afternoon, December 30. Mama and I just spent most of the afternoon drafting the letter Tio Chiche suggested she write. Minerva wasn't here to help. She left for Jarabacoa 3 days ago. Tio Fellow dragged her right off after Christmas because he found her very thin and sad and thought that the mountain air would invigorate her. Me, I just eat when I'm sad, and so I look the picture of health, as Tio Fellow put it. Not that Minerva would have been much help. She's no good at the flowery feelings like I am. Last October, when she had to give her speech praising El Jefe at the Salcedo Civic Hall, guess who wrote it for her? It worked, too. Suddenly, she got her permission to go to law school. Every once in a while, Trujillo has to be buttered up, I guess, which is why Tio Chiche thought this letter might help. Tomorrow I'll copy it in my nice penmanship, then Mama can sign it with her signature I've taught her to write. Sunset. I ask Fella, without mentioning any names, if she has something I can use to spell a certain bad person. She says to write this person's name on a piece of paper, fold it, and put the paper in my left shoe because that is the foot Eve used to crush the head of the serpent. Then burn it and scatter those ashes near the hated person. I'll sprinkle them all over the letter is what I'll do. What would happen if I put the name in my right shoe? I asked Fella. The right foot is for problems with someone you love. So I'm walking around doing a double spell. Rafael Leonidas Trujillo in one shoe, Enrique Mirabal in the other. Thursday night, December 31, last day of this old sad year. I can write the saddest things tonight. All right, by the way, that's a line from a Pablo Neruda poem. Here I am, looking out at the stars, everything so still, so mysterious. What does it all mean, anyway? I don't like this kind of thinking like Minerva likes. It makes my asthma worse. I want to know things I don't even know what they are, but I could be happy without answers if I had someone to love. And so it is of human life the goal, to seek, forever seek the kindred soul. I quoted that to Minerva before she left for Jarabacoa, but she got down our gems of Spanish poetry and quoted me another poem by the same poet. May the limitations of love not cast a spell on the serious ambitions of my mind. I couldn't believe the same man had written those two verses, but sure enough, there it was, Jose Marti, dates and all. Minerva showed me her poem was written later, when he knew what mattered. Maybe she's right. What does love come to anyway? I look at Papa and Mama after so many years. I can write the saddest things tonight. 1954. Friday night, January 1. I have been awful, really. I, a young girl, de luto, with her father fresh in the ground, I have kissed B on the lips. He caught my hand and led me behind a screen of palms. Oh horror, oh shamelessness, oh disgust. Please make me ashamed, oh God. Friday evening, January 8th. R dropped in for a visit today and stayed. I knew he was waiting for Mama to leave us alone. Sure enough, Mama finally stood up, hinting that it was time for people to be thinking about supper, but R hung on. Mama left, and R lit into me. What was this about B kissing me? I was so mad at B for telling on us after he promised he wouldn't. I told R that if I never saw his face or his silly brothers again, it was perfecto with me. Sunday afternoon, January 10. Minerva just got back with a very special secret. First, I told her my secret about B, and she laughed and said how far ahead of her I am. She says she has not been kissed for years. I guess there have been some bad parts to being somebody everybody respects. Well, maybe she has more than a kiss coming soon. She met somebody very special in Jarabacoa. It turns out the special person is also studying law in the capital, although he's 2 years ahead of her. But there's something else she doesn't even know yet. Minerva is 5 years older than he is. She figured it out from something he said, but she says that he's so mature at 23 you wouldn't know it. The only thing Minerva adds, real breezy and smart, the way she can be, so cool, is the poor man's already engaged to somebody else. Two-timer! I still hurt so much about Papa. He can't be a very nice man. I tell Minerva, "Give him up!" But Minerva's already defending this gallant that she just met. She says it's better he look around now before he takes the plunge. This is true. I guess she's right. I know I'm taking a very good look around before I close my eyes and fall in true love. Thursday, January 14. Minerva is up to her old tricks again. She wraps a towel around the radio and lies under the bed listening to illegal stations. Today she is down there for hours. There was a broadcast of a speech by this man, Fidel, who is trying to overturn their dictator over in Cuba. Minerva has big parts memorized. Now instead of her poetry she always was reciting, "Condemn me, it does not matter. History will absolve me." I am so hoping that now that Minerva has found a special someone, she'll settle down. I mean, I agree with her ideas and everything. I think people should be kind to each other and share what they have. But never in a million years would I take up a gun and force people to give up being mean. Minerva calls me her little petit bourgeois. I don't even ask her what that means, because she'll get on me again about not continuing with my French. I decided to take English instead, as we were closer to the USA than France. "Hello, my name is Mary Mirabal. I speak a little English. Thank you very much." Sunday afternoon, January 17. Minerva just left for the capital to go back to school. Usually I'm the one who cries when people leave, but this time everyone was weepy. Even Minerva's eyes filled up. I guess we're all grieving over Papa, and any little sadness brings up that bigger one. Dede and Jaimito are staying the night with Jaime Enrique and Bebe Jaime Rafael. Jaimito always brands his boys with his own first name. Tomorrow we'll head back to San Francisco. It's all settled. I'm going to be a day student and live with Dede and Jaimito during the week, then come home weekends to keep Mama company. I'm so relieved. After we got in trouble with the government and Papa started losing money, a lot of those nose-in-the-air girls treated me awfully. I cried myself to sleep in my dormitory cot every night, and of course, that only made my asthma worse. This arrangement also helps Dede and Jaimito too, as Mama is paying them for my boarding. Talk about money troubles. Those two have had bad luck twice already, what with the ice cream business, now with the restaurant. Even so, Dede makes the best of it. Miss Sonrisa, all right. Saturday night, February 6th. Home for the weekend. I spent all day getting everything ready. Next Sunday, the day of lovers, Minerva comes to visit. She's bringing her special someone she met in Jarabacoa. "Manolo wants to meet you," Minerva wrote us, and then added, "For your eyes only. You'll be pleased to know he broke off his engagement." Since I'm the one who reads all of our mail to Mama, I can leave out whatever Minerva marks in the margin with a big I. I'm probably messing up our whole privacy system because I'm teaching Mama to read. I've been after her for years, but she'd say, "I just don't have a head for letters." I think what convinced her is Papa's dying and me being away at school and the business losing money and Mama having to mind the store pretty much by herself. There was talk at the dinner table of Dede and Jaimito moving back out here and running things for Mama. That Dede joked that they've got a lot of experience with ailing businesses. Jaimito, I could tell, didn't think she was one bit funny. There's going to be a scene when we get back to San Fran. Sunday morning, February 14th. We're expecting Minerva and Manolo any minute. The way I can't sit still, Mama says you'd think it was my own beau coming. Dinner is all in my hands. Mama says it's good practice for when I have my own house, but she's begged me to stop running everything by her as she's losing her appetite from eating so many imaginary dinners in her head. So here's my final menu. Bear in mind today is the day of lovers, so red is my theme. Salad of tomatoes and pimentos with hibiscus garnish. Pollo a la criolla, lots of tomato paste in my San Valentine version. Moors and Christian's rice, heavy on the beans for the red-brown color. Carrots, I'm going to shape the rings into little hearts. Arroz con leche, because you know how the song goes. Arroz con leche wants to marry a clever girl from the capital who sews, who darns, who puts back her needle where it belongs. Night, Manolo just loved my cooking. That man ate seconds and thirds, stopping only long enough to say how delicious everything was. Mama kept winking at me. His other good qualities, let's see. He's tall and very handsome and so romantic. He kept hold of Minerva's hand under the table all through the meal. As soon as they left for the capital, Dede and Mama and Patria started in making bets about when the wedding would be. We'll have it here, Dede says. Ah, sí, it's final. Dede and Jaimito are going to move back to Ojo de Agua. Mama's told them that they can have this house as she wants to build a more convenient modern one on the main road. That way she won't be so isolated when all of her little chickens have flown. Just my baby left now, she says, smiling at me. Oh, diary, how I hate she forgets I'm already 18. Monday night, February 15th, back in San Fran. I keep hoping that someone special will come into my life soon, someone who can ravish my heart with the flames of love. Gems of Mate Mirabal. I try to put together the perfect man from all the boys I know. It sounds sort of like making a menu. Manolo's dimples, Raul's fairy tale blue eyes, Berta's curly hair and smile, Erasmo's beautiful hands, Federico's broad shoulders, Carlos's nice fundillos. Yes, we girls notice them too. And then that mystery something that will make the whole, as we learned in mathematics, more than the sum of these very fine parts. Monday night, March 1, San Fran. As you well know, diary, I have ignored you totally. I hope this will not develop into a bad habit, but I have not been in a very confiding mood. The night after Manolo came to dinner, I had the same bad dream about Papa, except when I pulled out all the pieces of the wedding dress, Papa's face shifted, and it wasn't Papa anymore, but Manolo. That started me worrying about Manolo, how he went after Minerva while he was still engaged. How now he's this wonderful, warm, loving man, I say to myself, but will that change with time? I guess I've fallen into suspicion, which Padre Ignacio says is as bad as falling into temptation. I went to see him about my ill feelings towards Papa. You must not see every man as a potential serpent, he warned me. And I don't really think I do. I mean, I like men. I want to marry one of them. Graduation day, July 3. Diary, I know you have probably thought me dead all these months, but you must believe me. I've been too busy for words. In fact, I have to finish writing down Tia's recipe on a card so I can start in on my thank you notes. I must get them out soon, or I shall lose that proper glow of appreciation one feels right after receiving gifts one does not need or even like all that much. Tia Flores made to-dye dreaming cake for my graduation party. It's her own special recipe inspired by the drink. She hauled me into my bedroom to have me write it down, so she said. I've praised it over and over, in word and, I'm afraid, in deed. I see 2 pieces and then some. My hips, my hips. Maybe I should rechristen this to-dye fat cake. In the middle of telling me about beating the batter until it's real foamy, make it look and feel like soap bubbles, she told me. Suddenly, straight out, she says, "We've got some talking to do, young lady." "Sure, Tia," I say in a little voice. Tia's kind of big and imposing, and her thick black eyebrows have scared me since childhood. I used to call them her mustaches. She says Berto and Raul aren't like brothers anymore, fighting all the time. She wants me to decide which one I want, then let the other one go eat tamarinds. So she says, which one is it going to be? "Neither one," I blurt out, because suddenly I see that what I'm headed for with either one is this mother-in-law. "Neither one?" She sits down on the edge of my bed. "Neither one? What? Are you too good for my boys?" Wednesday afternoon, July 7. Thank yous not yet written. Dede and Jaimito. My favorite perfume, Matador's Delight. Also an IOU for the new Luis Alberti record when we next go to the capital. Minerva, a poetry book by someone named Gabriela Mistral, and a pretty gold ring with an opal, my birthstone, set inside 4 cornerstone pearls. We have to get the size fixed in the Capitol. Here's a drawing of it. There's a picture in the text. Manolo, an ivory frame for my graduation picture, and for your final bow when the time comes, he winks. I'm liking him a lot more again. Tio Pepe, Tio Flor, Raul, Berto, the cutest little vanity table with the skirt, the same fabric as my bedspread. Tio made the vanity and Tia sewed the skirt for it. Maybe she's not so bad after all. As for Raul, he offered me his class ring and wanted us to be novios. Soon after, Berto cornered me in the garden with his magnet lips. I told them both I wanted them as friends, and they both said they understood. It was too soon after Papa's death. What I didn't tell either of them is that I met this young lawyer who did my inheritance transfer this Friday, Justo Gutierrez. He's so kind and has the nicest way of saying, sign here. Patria and Trujillo, a music box from Spain that plays 4 tunes, the battle cry of freedom, My Little Sky, There's Nothing Like a Mother, and another I can't pronounce, it's foreign. Also a St. Christopher's for my travels. Tio Tilo and Tia Eufemia, Maria, Milagros, Marina, seashell earrings and a bracelet set I would never wear in 1,000 years. I wonder if Tia Eufemia is trying to jinx me so her 3 old maid daughters stand a better chance. Everyone knows seashells keep a girl single, everyone except Tia Eufemia, I guess. Mama, a monogram suitcase from El Gallo for taking to the Capitol. It's settled. I'm going to the university in the fall with Minerva. Mama also gave me her old locket with Papa's picture inside. I haven't opened it once. It spooks me on account of my dream. She has transferred my inheritance to my name. $10,000. I'm saving it for my future and, of course, clothes and more clothes. Even Fela gave me a gift, a sachet of magic powders to ward off the evil eye when I go to the Capitol. I asked if this has also worked as a love potion. Tono heard me and said, somebody has a man in her life. Then Fela, who delivered me and knows me in and out, burst out laughing and said, a man? This one's got a whole cemetery of them in her heart. More heartbroken men buried in there than... They're both grown careful since we found out about the yard boy, Prieto. Yes, our trusted Prieto has been reporting everything he hears in the Mirabal house down at security for a bottle of rum and a couple of pesos. Tio Chiche came and told us. Of course, we can't fire him, or that would look like we have something to hide. But he's been promoted, so we told him, from the yard to the hog pen. Now he hasn't much to report except oink, oink, oink all day. Friday night, full moon, July 9. Justo Maria Gutierrez, Don Justo Gutierrez, and Doña Maria Teresa Mirabal de Gutierrez, Mate and Justico forever. Saturday night, September 18. Tomorrow, we leave for the Capitol. I'm debating, diary, whether to take you along. As you can see, I haven't been very good about writing regularly. I guess Mama is right. I am awfully moody about everything I do. But there will be so many new sights and experiences, and it will be good to have a record. And then again, I might be too busy with classes, and when I don't find a good hiding place, and you fall into the wrong hands. Oh dear, oh diary dear, I have been so indecisive about everything all week. Yes, no, yes, no. I've asked everyone's opinion about 6 things. Should I take my red heels if I don't yet have a matching purse? How about my navy blue scallop neck dress that is a little tight under the arms? Are 5 baby dolls and nightgowns enough, as I like a fresh one every night? One thing I was decisive about. Justo was kind and said he understood. I probably needed time to get over my father's death. I just kept quiet. Why is it that every man I can't love seems to feel I would if Papa hadn't died? Oh. Monday afternoon, September 27, the Capitol. What a huge, exciting place. Every day I go out, my mouth drops open like the campesino in the joke. So many big, elegant houses with high walls and guardias and cars and people dressed up in the latest styles I've seen in Vanidades. It's a hard city to keep straight, though, so I don't go out much unless Minerva or one of her friends is with me. All the streets are named after Trujillo's family, so it's kind of confusing. Minerva told me this joke about how to get to Parque Julia Molina from Carretera El Jefe. You take the road of El Jefe across the bridge of his youngest son to the street of his oldest boy, then turn left at the avenue of his wife, walk until you reach the park of his mother, and you're there. Every morning, first thing, we turn to El Foro Público. It's this gossip column in the paper signed by Lorenzo Acumares, a phony name if I ever heard one. The column's really written over at the National Palace, and it's meant to serve notice to anyone who has been treading on the tail of the rabid dog, as we say back home. What a great name for Jefe. Minerva says everyone in the whole capital turns to it before the news. It's gotten so that I just close my eyes while she reads me the column, dreading the mention of our name. But ever since Minerva's speech and Mama's letter and my shoe spell, I haven't had any trouble with the regime. Which reminds me, I must find you a better hiding place, diary. It's not safe carrying you around in my pocketbook on the street of this mother or avenue of this little boy. Sunday night, October 3. We march today before the start of classes. Our cédulas are stamped when we come back through the gates. Without those stamped cédulas, we can't enroll. We also have to sign a pledge of loyalty. There are hundreds of us, the women all together in white dresses, like we were his brides, with white gloves and any kind of hat we wanted. We had to raise our right arms in a salute as we passed by the review stand. It looked like the newsreels of Hitler and the Italian one with the name that sounds like fettuccine. Tuesday evening, October 12. As I predicted, there is not much time to write in your pages, diary. I am always busy. Also, for the first time in ages, Minerva and I are roommates again at Doña Chelito's, where we board. So the temptation is always to talk things over with her. But sometimes she won't do it at all, like right now, when she's pushing me to stay with my original choice of law. I know I used to say I wanted to be a lawyer like Minerva, but the truth is I always burst out crying if anyone starts arguing with me. Minerva insists, though, that I give law a chance, so I've been tagging along to her classes all week. I'm sure I'll die either of boredom or my brain being tied up in knots. In her practical forensics class, she and the teacher, this little owl-like man, Dr. Balaguer, get into the longest discussions. All the other students keep yawning and raising their eyebrows at each other. I can't follow them myself. Today it was about whether, in the case of homicide, the corpus delicti is the knife or the dead man, whose death is the actual proof of the crime. I felt like shouting, "Who cares?" Afterwards, Minerva asked me what I thought. I told her that I am signing up for philosophy and letters tomorrow, which according to her is what girls who are planning to marry always sign up for. But she's not angry at me. She says I gave it a chance, and that's what matters. Wednesday night, October 13. This evening we went out for a walk, Manolo and Minerva and a friend of theirs from law school who is very sweet, Armando Grullon. When we got down to Malecon, the whole area was sealed off. It was that time of the evening when El Jefe takes his nightly paseo by the seawall. That's how he holds his cabinet meetings, walking briskly, each minister getting his turn at being grilled, then falling back, gladly giving up his place to the next one in line. Manolo started joking about how El Jefe gets disgusted with any of them. He doesn't even have to bother to send him to La Piscina to be fed to the sharks, just to elbow him right over the seawall. It really scared me, him talking that way in public with guards all around and anybody a spy. I'm just dreading that we'll find in El Foro Público tomorrow. Sunday night, October 17. El Foro Privado, seen walking in El Jardín Botánico, unchaperoned, Armando Grullon and Maria Teresa Mirabal, Mate and Armando forever. He put his arms around me, and then he tried to put his tongue in my mouth. I had to say, no! I've heard from other girls at Doña Chelito's that one has to be careful with these men in the capital. Monday morning, October 18th. I had the dream again last night. I hadn't had it in such a long time. It upset me all the more because I thought I'd gotten over Papa. This time Armando played musical faces with Papa. I was so upset I woke up Minerva. Thank God I didn't scream out and wake everyone in the house. How embarrassing that would have been. Minerva just held my hands like she used to when I was a little girl and was having an asthma attack. She said that the pain would go away once I found the man of my dreams. It wouldn't be long. She could feel it in her bones. But I'm sure what she is feeling is her own happiness with Manolo.